What's going on, guys? Seth here from Team Union. Seth back as your coach of the Philadelphia Fearows for our Week 6 battle in the RPL, or the Reborn Pokemon League. Sorry this battle is a little late. It's about a week late. We actually had a few teams drop out of the league, and we're looking for replacements this week. So I did decide to give everyone an extra week to do their Week 6 battles. So here it is for us. This is our team builder for this week. We are going up against the BUC Cavaliers. So as you guys know, I have my team of Skarmory, Cresselia, Darmanitan, Tornadus Incarnate, Serena, Rotom, Suicune, Nidoqueen, Goodra, Perugly, and Megalopony, while my opponent has the Tapu Koko, Gliscor, Tentacruel, Decidueye, Metagross, Audino, Bisharp, Ribombee, Hawlucha, Armaldo, and the Mega Charizard X. So, obviously Tapu Koko is a huge threat. It's really, really good in the format, so that is definitely something I'm going to need to be on the lookout for. Gliscor is just bulky. It can be pretty annoying with its Toxic Orb and Toxic Heal. Tentacruel doesn't really get reliable recovery, so that thing can be worn down. One thing to note about his team, he has a lot of hazard removal. He has a lot of mons that get Defog or Rapid Spin. I mean, his first 4 mons have hazard removal, so he definitely has a good amount of hazard removal on his team. So rocks aren't exactly a priority this match, even though he does have a Charizard. It's not a huge priority. I do have checks and answers for the Charizard, but I am bringing them, so if I can get them up, it's nice. It's always nice. But rocks aren't exactly a huge priority. It does have the Decidueye, which is a spin blocker. Decidueye, as a ghost type, can be kind of scary. Grass type is not great against my team, but it's definitely not terrible. The combination of Ghost Grass is not bad at all for my team. Plus, it can be pretty scary just as a general attacker. Metagross is always just a threat. I do have things like Skarmory and Cresselia that can stop it, as well as the Suicune, but it could run like a Thunder Punch or just a Choice Band that can still do a good amount of damage. So that is definitely something to be wary of. Audino's not terrible. I don't think it's as bad as everyone thinks it is, honestly. It's bulky, it takes hits, but I'm not sure if you would bring it exactly either way. Bisharp's actually pretty cool. In this matchup, it's interesting because it can knock off a lot of mons on my team, so it can be kind of scary there. Ironhead isn't great in the matchup, but I could definitely see him bringing Bisharp and maybe some sort of coverage moves. So that's definitely something to be on the lookout for. Rabombee's usually pretty scary, and honestly, I know Rabombee's really good, but it's not great in this matchup. Megalopony outspeeds it before it gets up a Quiver Dance. Its Dual Stab does nothing to Skarmory. Tornadus is a good check to it. Even things like Suicune or Nidoqueen are good checks to it. So I don't really think he's going to bring the Ribombee. Hawlucha paired up with Koko is pretty scary, and it does a decent number to my team, so that's definitely a threat. I'm definitely expecting him to bring Koko Lucha. So he has an Armaldo, which is another Rapid Spinner for him. I don't really expect the Armaldo. It doesn't have the best of matchups, so I'm not too worried about that. He could bring something to try to wall break my Cresselia. Or even like my Tornadus or Serena. So he could bring it. It's an option, but I don't really expect it. And then the Charizard I do think he's going to bring, just because it matches up well against the Skarmory. And it can outspeed my entire team if it does get the +1. So it's faster than a good portion of my team, so I do expect him to bring it. I'm expecting him to bring a Jolly one so he can outspeed my Darmanitan, as well as bring something like Earthquake to cover that as well. So let's get right into my team. Starting off, we have Fabio, our Suicune, with the leftovers and pressure, Scald, Calm Mind, Rest, and Sleep Talk, 248 in HP, 252 in defense, 8 in special attack with the Bold Nature. So, Suicune takes 2 +1 Dragon Claws from a Jolly Zard X. So like I just said, I do expect his Charizard to be Jolly to outspeed the Darmanitan, because otherwise I could Earthquake the Darmanitan, I could Rock Slide it, the Charizard, I'm sorry, and do a ton of damage to him. So I do expect him to bring that, bring the Jolly Nature so he can outspeed that, as well as so he can outspeed a Scarf Darmanitan when he's at +1. So that's pretty much it. This thing is really nice just for his physical threats. I mean, if you look back on his team, it's good for the Gliscor. It helps handle that. It's nice for the Metagross. Bisharp it's really nice for. Even Hawlucha can take some good hits from, but it's mainly here for our check to Charizard and just to be a physical wall in general. And we could potentially set up a Calm Mind and start to do some real damage, or set up a couple Calm Minds, take some hits, and really start to sweep his team. Excuse me. So next up we have Cheste, our Nidoqueen, with the Life Orb and Sheer Force this week, rocking Ice Beam, Earth Power, Toxic, and Stealth Rock. 8 in HP, 188 in defense, 104 in special attack, and 208 in speed with the timid nature. Now, I didn't really feel like I needed more than Ice Beam and Earth Power for coverage in this matchup, which is why I'm running Toxic and Stealth Rock as well. This thing's main job is to wall break against his team. I'm expecting it to put in a lot of work because the combination of Earth Power and Ice Beam does a tremendous amount to almost everything on his team. I mean, let's go down the list here. Coco, we have Earth Power. Gliscor, we have Ice Beam. Tentacruel, we have Earth Power. Decidueye, we have Ice Beam. Metagross, we have Earth Power. Bisharp, we have Earth Power. Hawlucha, we have Ice Beam. Charizard, we have Earth Power. I mean, it just does so much damage to so many of his threats. It's really, really nice to have. The speed that we have on it allows us to outspeed base 70s. So if he wants to go like a max speed Jolly Bisharp or a Metagross or Decidueye, we outspeed all of those. We also, with the defense investment, we are able to live a max attack Adamant Zen Headbutt from the Metagross. So that's actually really key here, because if we can come in, he's not expecting us to live that hit. So maybe he's Scarf, max attack Adamant to outspeed this thing, or maybe he's got, you know, the Shuka Berry. We can Earth Power, we live a Zen Headbutt, and then we can potentially Earth Power back, or if we're predicting him to have the Bullet Punch, we can switch out, but we still do a ton of damage. So definitely something to be on the lookout for. If he's banded, though, we do not live. So we're not going to live a banded Adamant Zen Headbutt. That would be crazy. But if he's not banded, let's see, let's say we calc damage from something else. We figure out he's not banded. We can live a hit there. We also, with the speed, it also allows us to outspeed defensive Gliscor and Tentacruel. So if they don't have any EVs in speed, we're able to outspeed those as well. We also OHKO or 2KO everything on his team except for the Autono. Again, the Autono I don't really expect, but if he does bring it, I have the Toxic, or I can even set up Rocks on it, and he can't really do a whole lot back to us. And then Rocks are there just in case, like I mentioned before. If I can get those up, great. They're not a huge priority, which is why, again, I'm not prioritizing them. But they're there just in case I decide I can set them up. But next up, we have our Serena. Yas, our Serena. The Leftovers and Queenly Majesty, Synthesis, Aromatherapy, Rapid Spin, and Knockoff. 248 in HP, 60 in attack, and 200 in special defense with the Adamant nature. Now, Queenly Majesty is really nice for priority from the Decidueye, like Sucker Punch, and I believe it also gets Shadow Sneak. Really nice for that, because this is a really good check to that Decidueye, and we can fire off a knockoff and potentially get a good amount of damage off on it. This thing is here mainly just for utility, to help heal up the team in case he gets some statuses off with the Aromatherapy, heal up itself with Synthesis, Rapid Spin to make sure we're keeping hazards off our side of the field for, as you can see, our Tornadus and our Darmanitan, and the knockoff is just there to get rid of some items. So this thing is mainly utility. I don't see it staying on the field for a whole lot of time, but it can make an impact while it is on the field. With the investment, we take 2 Modest Choice Specs HP Ices from a Coco. I don't expect him to run a Timid Coco. I only expect him to have to outspeed my my base 111, or I'm sorry, Purugly at base 112, which he's not going to need a Timid Nature for that. Plus, he can't outspeed Mega Lopunny anyway, even if he did go Timid or Jolly, whatever. So that's why we have that. So we're living 2 Modest Choice Specs HP Ices. And that's pretty much it for the Serena. So next up we have Bugs, our Mega Lopunny with the Lopunite and Limber. Work up, Encore, Return, and Ice Punch, 252 in attack, 40 in defense, 216 in speed with the Jolly Nature. So this thing outspeeds a max speed Coco. Like I just said, I don't expect him to run max speed, but just in case he does, I don't really want to risk it. I can't have Coco outspeeding us and getting a Brave Bird off, or even just an electric move is going to do a ton of damage. So we're outspeeding a max speed Coco in case he doesn't decide to specify his EVs. We also outspeed any base 70 Scarfer. So if he decides to slap a Scarf on Decidueye, we are able to outspeed that as well. We have a good chance to OHKO the Lucha or the Gliscor for at +1. So work up is there for if we can predict a switch, or even this is what I want to lead with. I want to lead with Lopunny predicting, or leading off with potential fake out, which is very common. And I'm thinking he's going to lead with the Gliscor. And I think he's going to want to either get up his Rocks or go for a Protect to get his Toxic Orb off. Either way, I can set up a workup, or even potentially Encore the next turn after that. Encore him into whatever he wanted to go for. So I can work up that first turn, get a boost, and proceed to outspeed and destroy everything on his team. So, like I said, we have a good chance to OHKO the Lucha and the Gliscor once we get to +1. So this is really going to help me against the Hawlucha, because if I can get that thing in, if I can get to +1 before he gets in, or potentially before he gets the Electric Seed boost, if I can force the Lucha in, that would be really, really nice. So that's pretty simple for this thing, but definitely looking to be pretty effective in this matchup. Excuse me. Next up, we have Cumulonimbus, our Tornadus Incarnate with the leftovers, and Prankster. We have Tailwind, Heat Wave, Hidden Power, Ice, and Air Slash. 240 in HP, 4 in defense, 244 in special attack, with 20 in speed, with the Modest Nature. Now, this thing is very specific. We kill a Hawlucha with an Air Slash. So if it wants to come in, we can take a hit. And we can fire off. Well, we can take a hit if it's not boosted. Then we can fire off an Air Slash, and we knock it out. We kill a max HP Gliscor with HP Ice, so if he's not, if he's a defensive Gliscor, we kill him with HP Ice. And this thing also outspeeds his base 170s with the little bit of speed that we have in there. So if he decides to not run any speed, or if he decides to, if he runs max speed on things like Decidueye, Metagross, or Bisharp, we can outspeed those. Heat Wave is obviously there for those three, for the Decidueye, Metagross, or Bisharp. Air Slash is also nice for the Decidueye. This thing, again, is also here for utility. As much as I love U-Turn, I couldn't fit it in on here or on the Serena, just because I felt like I needed the other moves more. Tailwind is there just in case he gets the boost with Hawlucha. I can Tailwind to potentially set up something like the Lopunny or the Darmanitan to come in and help finish that thing off. Or even if he wants to go for a Swords Dance while this thing's sitting in front of him. I don't know why he'd want to do that, but if he does, I can get up a Tailwind, outspeed the next turn, and fire off my Air Slash. Well, we wouldn't outspeed the next turn, but if he has no speed on it, we would. But either way. Last but not least, we have on fleek our Darmanitan with the Choice Scarf and Sheer Force with U-Turn, Flare Blitz, Earthquake, and Will-O-Wisp. 96 in HP, 252 in attack, 4 in defense, and 156 in speed with the Adamant Nature. So, this thing outspeeds the Koko or Scarf Decidueye with the speed investment we had plus the Scarf. And it just puts a lot of pressure on his team. U-Turn is going to be really, really nice. Flare Blitz is also really nice for his team. Earthquake is there mainly for the Charizard if he's not set up yet. Like I said, I'm expecting him to bring that Jolly Zard so he can outspeed the Darmanitan at +1 if we're Scarfed. And the Will-O-Wisp is there for things like the Metagross, potentially the Decidueye if it wants to go for a Sucker Punch, predicting that. So we can get off a Will-O-Wisp and burn one of his big threats, or maybe even the Hawlucha. If I know I'm not going to be able to knock it out, let's say it gets the Electric Seed boost in defense, I know I'm not going to be able to knock it out, I could outspeed it. Well, I wouldn't outspeed it then, but either way, I could go for a Will-O-Wisp and get some damage off there. Or if I have that Tailwind up, and I'm going to outspeed it then with the Charizard, I could get off the Will-O-Wisp, make sure that it can't do much damage, and then switch into something like Fabio, or even Chest Day, and get some damage off. So, that is the team. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section. Other than that, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.